Okay, Sarah, I want to talk a little bit about social emotional learning today. We know it's important. There are myriad reasons why it's important to bring it into the classroom, but we were going to focus on two of those today, right?
That's right. First, it inspires kids to delve more deeply into the text. They'll actually want to clarify word meanings and reread in order to make a personal reflection on what they've read.
So, by asking them what they think about a piece or asking them how they find connections to that piece, it's kind of showing them that their opinion matters. And with them thinking that their opinion is being listened to, it gives them an authentic reason to read more deeply.
Yes, and then the second reason is that in itself helps them grow not only as readers but as individuals. And it helps strengthen our classroom community and, frankly, society. When people think their opinion matters and they value themselves, it makes for a better learning experience.
How do we encourage kids to make that personal connection? Do we only have to do it with poems that evoke like big important emotions?
No, and I think sometimes or many times we look at literature and we think, oh, this has to be about some kind of injustice, or this has to be about a tragic situation in order to evoke a social emotional response. But in fact, you and I have found that we can, through prompts, get kids to connect in a personal way to really any kind of text.
Exactly. We're going to look at two different texts that we are using in a program that we're bringing into classrooms, and one of them is going to be about plants, and it's for the little guys, and we'll see how we can make a social emotional connection with plants. And then we're going to look at another one, poem that you wrote. Which one is that?
Secrets.
And that one's a little more obvious how that makes a social emotional connection.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay,
so we're going to take a look at this first grade poem about plants.
it's a popular subject.
It is a popular subject, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how can we use this text as an anchor for social emotional response.
Okay.
So, Plants by Michael Salinger. Plants. Flowers, stems, leaves. Roots. Top to bottom, plants have got 'em. That's it?
That about says it all,
It's a good poem. It's a good poem.
It is.
Now, how are we going to use this text to create a social emotional response?
Well, the first thing is we would do is to give them a couple of prompts. And we always say to kids, these are not to hold you back. They're to get you started.
They could come up with their own idea, but the prompts are there for our strivers who need that little step. It's like, what am I going to write about? We just don't want to throw a text at them and say, what does this mean to you?
Exactly.
Some kids will run with that. Some kids, it'll freeze them. So you got to be looking out for those strivers. So what are the prompts we came up for this text?
Well, first of all, we asked, do you have any favorite plants? Maybe their favorite plants are roses in their grandmother's garden, and they can make a personal connection there. Or the second prompt that we had for that one was,
what are your roots?
Right, and where are your roots? Exactly.
And that gets a little deeper. We're talking about families. So we've got these two levels of prompts here. Mm-hmm. And
to make a choice between those or a choice of your own.
And that second one, talking about the roots, that's helping develop the vocabulary too, because now they're seeing how that tier 2 word travels between plant physiology and their personal roots.
And their personal growth.
Now the next poem we're going to take a look at is one of yours. And what's that one called?
Secrets.
Secrets. And it's a little bit more obvious how we can make a social emotional connection with that one.
It is. Let's talk that one through.
Okay.
Well, let me begin by reading the poem. Secrets. If you'd tell me your problem, I'd tell you I knew. I'd give you a hug and say, I'm worried too. Just because you haven't said doesn't mean that I don't know, even though you act real private. Sometimes secrets show. Now, this is a poem that we have pegged at about a third grade reading level. And our prompts for that, on our social emotional prompts, are how do you tell if someone is holding a secret.
Making that connection so that they're looking and showing empathy. How they can tell if someone's holding a secret.
And our second prompt on that one is, how do you hide your secrets? What do you do to hide secrets? And then after that, we just say, explain.
Exactly. Or if you have another idea, feel free to write that.
Or if you would like to draw a picture and put a caption under it, and make a connection that way, that's also a very good response.
And making those personal connections is what makes the text real for the students.
It does. And it makes them value their own opinions. I think too often we squeeze kids into there has to be a right or wrong answer. And in this case, there is no right or wrong answer. It's a personal response.
All right, to quickly recap here, one of the things you want to make sure is that when the students are writing these social emotional responses, they know that there's no right or wrong about it.
Right, and we also want to give them a choice of prompts, but let them know they are not confined to those prompts, but we just don't want to leave them out there hanging.
Exactly.
And when you look at them, we're looking at them non-judgmentally.
Right, we are not grading these. Social emotional responses don't get a letter grade, that's for sure.
That's right. And in fact, we can find ways to make a social emotional connection to just about any kind of lesson, whether that's plants, a piece of aesthetic literature, or a unit on the solar system.
Exactly. We're making social emotional connections all the time.